Hi everyone, this is me, Dr. Saurabh. I am a men's coach and SPR specialist, as you all know. I am a speaker, a restaurateur. Now, after our first episode, we are back again on the second episode recording today. And today we'll be talking to a special guest. So, let me welcome you to my podcasting channel, Let's Talk Men, where we'll be talking more about men's mental health and how do we go about it, what are the strategies to overcome about it. Now, today's guest, Mr. Ronak Vora. Ronak is a very dear friend, but he's also a self mastery coach, an entrepreneur, healer, speaker, and a founder of Men's Fitness Community. Ronak himself is a fitness coach. He's been training, he's been mentoring more than 1,000 clients worldwide since the last 9 years. And he's the most important thing about Ronak is he helps you become an alpha male. So, what is an alpha male? How do alpha males behave? How to invoke the alpha male in you? Wait, let's not do the talking now. Let's get into the podcast and let's explore the alpha male with the alpha coach himself, Mr. Ronak Vora. Man, first of all, let me thank you so much for taking out your precious time and coming down, and talking about more of men's mental health. June being the men's mental health month, it's very imperative that we talk about it, we enlighten men, and bring out the strengths and the power of being the true masculinity rather than highlighting toxic masculinity. So let's begin. Let's dive directly into the topic rather than wasting in time. So
Thank you,
before
Saurabh,
we
for
start,
having me.
yeah, so before we start, I want to know your journey. What made you become a men's coach, a fitness coach? What brought you here?
So I would start off as going back to the story how I began. I think God put me on this mission where He gave me a lot of troubles, a lot of hardships, a lot of adversities growing up as a young kid, not knowing what masculinity is, not having the direction of what it means to be a man, not knowing that fighting for yourself is not a sign of arrogance, it's a sign of strength. Having those learnings come into my 20s, in my late 20s, I did not have that when I was young. So I had to go through a lot of hardships, a lot of adversities, a lot of challenges that everyone goes through, right? But what happens is both log, or most of the people take these challenges personally, and they start thinking, oh, this is going to be my life. I'm always going to be in problems, or life is always unfair with me. They get into a victim mode, you know. So I was pretty much in that zone for a few years, but then my turning point, I'll say, sort of my turning point came when I suffered a very heavy, very you know, I would say very uh, detrimental event in my life that happened when I was in my college. So that event literally shook the world apart for me. It literally broke me down in tears. I had people around me who were mocking me constantly, and I felt like this is it. I'm going to die, and tomorrow's gonna be my last day. That those were my thoughts before going to bed. I mean, those 3 days of extreme torture were very bad to me. So I won't go into detail of that, but now when I look back at the events, I can only thank the people. I can thank the God who put me in that misery so that it made me the man who I am today. And I always reflect back to this quote, which is by Henry Rollins. He says that there is no better way to fight weakness than with strength.
Absolutely.
So that was a turning point of my life, and ever since then, I haven't looked back. I started my journey as a fitness enthusiast, and then turned a lecturer, then turned a fitness coach, then turned a lifestyle expert, and now I'm doing the life coaching with all the men out there, all the women as well. I'm a pranic healer. I run communities globally. I do speak on events, and so on and so forth. So going from a guy who's not having the power, not having the strength, to not feeling the confidence in him, to turning his life completely upside down, I think it's just the way of God, and it's his way of making me realize that there is a much bigger purpose for you out there. And I believe every person out there, in the world, everyone can do so much more if they just start seeing their problems not as problems but as opportunities.
Absolutely. I think the way it should be put that, the setbacks that we encounter in our life are not to discourage us, but they are come in the form of opportunity, to find ourselves, find our true purpose. They say there is a light at the end of every tunnel, but you won't understand the light until you see a tunnel, the darkness that is inside the tunnel, right? So,
Correct.
Ronak, I see there are a lot of alpha male, how to become an alpha male, what a real alpha man is. It uh, when you teach or when you coach men in your coaching sessions. So I wanted to ask, this term alpha male literally caught my attention. I wanted to ask, how would you define an alpha male in today's society? And what are the common misconceptions people have about this concept? Because when we talk about alpha male, everybody is like, the typical projection you have in the movies, and fascinations. But what is a real alpha male in today's society?
Right. I think that's a great question, Saurabh. I'll tell you what, this term was new to me as well, and I had mixed definitions, right? From what society has told, from what friends have told that, okay, this is alpha male, this is toxic, this is that, this is that. Like, you don't even know what that means. You haven't walked on that path. You are a unsuccessful person and you are teaching me all these things. So that made me question everyone who was giving me advice, right? Because we see today a lot of people give us advice, but they are not walking the path. They are not authentic. It's doglapan. It's what we see. So then it made me question, and I was always curious about life, right? That's what makes me uh, always a learner, always curious about life, finding answers. That's how I'm able to give more value to my clients and the community. So I was trying to understand what alpha male is, what is manliness, what is masculinity all about. And from what I've understood now, sort of my uh, the term alpha male has evolved for me. The definition for me has evolved over time. So I used to think earlier that, okay, alpha male is someone that should be strong. He's confident. He's always bossy. He doesn't talk to anyone. But I used to think that. I mean, now I think it's very short, very narrow perspective. And alpha male truly, I think now is what I reframe it as spiritually balanced alpha male.
Right.
Okay, because an alpha male, if you look at the truest aspect, is the one who is assertive, confident, yes, but he also includes everyone else around with him.
Right.
And you can only do that when you have right leadership qualities. You can only do that when you know that there is oneness. We are not, we are not indifferent. We are one people, one species with different names, different skin, different religion, but it's the soul, right? It's oneness. So as I got evolved with my concepts on spirituality, and advanced concepts about how life is, how the universe works, how we all people are connected, how our genes are very much connected, that evolved my definition for alpha male. So now when I look at alpha male, I look at spiritually balanced alpha male who is assertive, who knows what he wants, he fights for what he wants, and he fights for the people in his life. He marries to a young feminine woman. He is not out there setting a bad example. He keeps himself in shape. He keeps himself as priority. He doesn't argue, doesn't have a toxic, or I would say a victim mindset. He doesn't put people down, but he's always uplifting and always empowering people.
Yes.
Because he believes that not everybody is born to be a leader, and that is okay. Not everybody, like we say, right, is an entrepreneur. Someone can be an entrepreneur. You
True.
know. Similarly, alpha male is the one who has the ability to lead, right, and he leads people to the right direction. You can take people together, and empower people
True.
together.
True. Even just like you said, I used to think that alpha male is someone who doesn't talk to anyone, who's on his own, who's a strong man, who doesn't show, who's
Yeah.
not vulnerable. So some critics still argue, that the concept of alpha male is to promote toxic masculinity. there's still there
Right.
are some critics who say this. But then, how do you respond to these criticisms? How, but
I
and how
don't.
do you
I
ensure
don't.
it? Right. So
I
how do
don't.
you? So do you believe that coaching can promote healthy masculinity in the form of an alpha male? Can
So
it?
what I'll tell you what, I don't look at masculinity as toxic or healthy.
Right.
Masculinity for me itself is healthy. Itself is positive. So
True.
what happens is when I was looking at this article by some feminist uh, column writer, I don't remember her name, but she had written a rise of toxic masculinity. So when these people with a blue tick, who don't who are not who doesn't have any clue about what it means to be a man, when they start making assumptions and opinions on what it means to be a man and masculinity, I feel that as a society we are in trouble,
Yes.
and people who are not able to see the truth, who are stuck in the matrix, who are avoiding truth, who are ignorant, who are very much people pleaser, they would always have a very hard life. They
Imposter
would
syndrome.
suffer to the death.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm at that point now when I can't save everyone. I have soft corner, but I can't help everyone. People have to take their people have to rely on their own spine at
Yeah.
some point of time. You got to find the truth. You can't be ignorant about truth. And when you tell people the truth that, hey, look, this is what is making you weak. You're not a strong man. You are a weak man because you are falling prey. You're people pleasing. You're not standing for yourself. You don't have an opinion. You can't speak the truth. You can't share things. You are not confident. You're ignorant. People want to know the truth, but when the truth comes to them, they take 10 steps back. They can't confront it. So all these people, when they put these terms on internet or toxic masculinity, that is what people say, oh, toxic masculinity. So I don't differentiate. For me, masculinity has always been positive. It is a sign of positive masculinity. Because well, you're gonna have you heard we haven't heard of toxic feminism and positive feminism, right? There's only one feminism, which is itself is toxic because people have made it toxic, right? It's like same, right? So all this time, a talk masculinity, I wouldn't say has always been powerful and has been positive all the time. We go back to 50, 100 years, it was not so empowering.
Right.
Women were suppressed, women were put down,
Yeah. Yeah.
but those men were not conscious.
You are not conscious.
But if you go even back,
Mhm.
then the men were conscious, like 1,000 years ago, when there was, I would say, in the times of, so let's look at the times of Mahabharat. Let's look at the times of when all these mythology stories were there, right? Shiva, Ram, Hanuman. Masculinity has been the forefront, and feminine nature of the feminine, the woman was always towards the masculine. So it was a great combination. The feminine was in her feminine essence, or the masculine they were in their masculine, and together they were creating a beautiful family. But today there are a lot of changes. So we have evolved. There's technology. There is so much of growth, so much of evolution, revolution happening. Correct. उसके दौरान सारा कुछ गेम बिगड़ गया है.
Hmm.
But I feel like what we know, the work we are doing, we can keep on bringing awareness. We can keep on bringing back the concepts that were evident, that were existential, and people who can relate can take it away and put it in their families. Meaning, if a man is listening right now, he knows what to do. If he doesn't know, he can be part of our community. He can be a part of our coaching. He
Right.
knows that he knows the stuff. He works on himself. He sees things from a wide angle. He challenges his perspective. He challenges his own status quo, and he finds the truth. Now, when he finds the truth, he will obviously want her woman to be a certain way. He would, push her woman to a certain degree where she also now starts to see the truth, where she will also question on what she has learned from her mother, from her grandmother, from her grandfather. Because a lot of women look at patriarchy very wrongly. And I get it. I get it because अब तक Indian culture ने patriarchy properly channel नहीं किया था.
Right.
You know, we have seen men in our families who are too toxic. They
Yeah.
don't know what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
Right. And I have been with those kind of men in my families. I have men who are feminine men. You know, so there was no right education, there was no right empowerment, there was no right blueprint, there was no right manifesto, there was nothing given to these men. And that is why they, I think, what I would say is they are wounded men. You know, they are not bad people, but they don't know how to really tap into their own potential. What powers do they carry? And what potential do they carry? Right? So all of that, is really what I feel an alpha male is, and I feel that is the kind of change we should be looking at today in today's time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you. There is a lot of imposter syndrome that we see in men these days, and looking at that, talking about those men who are wounded, talking about those men who are into the imposter syndrome. Uh, for many of them, being a masculine or being an alpha male is something you're born with. So, what do you think? Can someone become an alpha male, eventually in his lifetime? I mean, what are your thoughts on nature versus nurture when it comes to alpha male behavior or any true masculine behavior?
I'll tell you what I read this interesting thing. It said that a guy is born, but a male or a man is created.
Yes.
And I don't think men are ever born. Men are always created.
Mm-hmm.
Men are always created through destruction.
Mm.
They are forged, they are destroyed, they are like completely shaken apart.
Just like a weapon.
Yeah, just like a weapon, just like a diamond. And that opportunity is given to every person out there. It's not like कि मुझे कुछ special मिला है, उसको नहीं मिला. Everybody had that opportunities. But then, as I said, some men become soft, become weak. They can't handle the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Pressure is what makes you. A lot of people complain, oh my God, it's too much pressure. I can't handle it. You will be a beta forever. If you can't handle the pressure now, when life is giving you to toughen you up, when the time will come, you will, just slide down to the system and you will become a forever victim. Right. So I feel alpha males or, be right true men that I look up to, that I would want my kids to look up to, or I would want my clients to look up to, or I would want the people society to look up to, is they are not born.
Right.
They are born with challenges. They are born with, because I always feel this, right? अगर आपको सब कुछ easily मिल जाता है when you were a kid, if you had got everything, you would grow up as a arrogant, ignorant kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You look at rich kids. Not everyone is, of course, not every rich kid is, arrogant or ignorant. But I would say most of them, they have got everything on their platter. Nobody has pushed them, forced them, to find the answers.
Yeah.
So coming back to your question, yes, men are created. Men are not born men. They are created through heart, through blood, sweat, and tears. And every man who can, put the pressure on himself, who can see this pressure as an opportunity, he can thrive. Because I feel always that, women are born with value. Women have assets. They are born with value. But men, they have to create value. Right? And I don't think it's unfair. That's the law of universe. That's how nature has created us. So there is something smart about why nature created us. Nature is not stupid. It's way smarter than all the human beings, right? That's God energy. That's God energy out there. How can God be not smart? So and yeah, I also feel that men also need nurturing. Men also need the right kind of nourishment, because what happens is when you put men through extreme hardships, extreme pressure, they often turn out to be not able to love, not able to open up, not able to be vulnerable, not able to share an emotional bond. So it's like you can't put them at that extreme. You can't also put them at that extreme.
Right.
When they are too soft or when they are too extreme, you got to find a sweet spot. Like for me, I have been on the soft side in the beginning. Then I was pushed to the extreme. Then through coaching, through healing, through therapy, through having female friends who were, I think they had a role to play in my life, who were elder to me, but they always kept on guiding me. They always kept me giving the feminine energy, which made me understand a lot of concepts about how I need to show up as a man, you know, on how I need to show up as a man, on how I need to function as a man, right? Because if you have a feminine energy in your life, and when she is truly in her feminine energy, your life can change as a man, right? Your life can change if you have a feminine energy in your life, and if she's doing her best, if she's in her authenticity, you can pick up a lot of things from her. She can act as a mirror for your life,
True.
right? But a lot of men are blind to that. They obviously put the
Yeah.
woman down, and I hate that.
True
And
that.
that's just so ignorant, and that is why they will suffer forever. Because you look at our scriptures, you look at our mythology, you look at our religion, us, all of that. They always you bow down to women all the time. Women are powerful creatures in their own way.
Yes.
Feminine energy is very dark, it's very powerful. And when a true man understands this, and I think that's like the it can spring to a meaningful thing.
I think what we mean is that men who are these kind of men are wounded or lost, or they
Yeah,
don't
correct.
understand the real meaning of masculinity.
They are also scared in their own way,
Yeah,
Saurabh. Let me tell you
exactly.
that. They are very much scared. They are scared of the woman who's so powerful, who's taking a control,
Yeah.
but they want to take the control. They want to be the leader, but they can't be the leader because they have no substance inside of them. So they
Yes.
shout, they put them down, and they do all sorts of dirty tricks.
It comes in the form of aggression in the wrong way.
Yeah,
Right.
true, true.
Thinking of this, they lack the emotional vulnerability. Today, people talk a lot about mental health, emotional intelligence, emotional vulnerability. So, when it comes to a man, how does this concept fit in any masculine man or an alpha male? How do a real man, alpha male, balances these qualities? Because we're talking a lot about emotional vulnerability, emotional sovereignty, intelligence. How do you think this fits in it?
See, I always feel now when I look at a man, if I want to, so I'll tell you what, when if I were 20-year-old now today, and if I wanted to have a blueprint, I would give my younger version a holistic blueprint of what it means to be a man. A complete blueprint which has the mind development, physical development, the development of the energy, the spirit, and the development of emotions.
Yes, very important.
That's one of our framework that we use, MB and A, mind, body, aura. That's our patented framework. So if
Okay,
I were to go back in time, I would give my younger version the same blueprint.
right.
Because that is what you show up in the right way. You have all the tools in your arsenal. You show up correctly. Because just having mental development and not having emotional development, not working.
Right.
It's like today I was putting a quote. I had quoted this in morning today. I'll share with you. Purpose without power is important. Power without a purpose is immature, since it's all scattered and not anchored.
Yes.
I'll repeat that. Purpose without power is important. Power without a purpose is immature, since it's all scattered and not anchored.
Not anchored. That's the most important part, not anchored.
Yeah. So, all these lessons come to you when you are truly in the divine. Well, I feel masculine is a divine. I look at divine masculine. That's how I complete it. It's not only masculine or only feminine. For me, it's divine masculine and divine feminine.
Right.
So when you tap into that spirit of Shiva,
Yeah.
you become unstoppable, man. All the fears, all the doubts, insecurities are long gone.
So long gone.
But
You are
again, but
enlightened, actually.
correct. I wouldn't say enlightened. That's a long state to
It's
reach.
a long stage to achieve.
Yeah, right. But you get enlightened in your own current
Yeah.
reality. It's like वही है ना कि how did Shiva become Shiva when
Right.
he gulped the the rus,
Yes.
the poison.
Yeah.
So he went through a lot of pain and hardships. Similarly, if you want to become a man, you have to go through pain and hardship, and that is how you will become a divine masculine, right? But not everybody is ready for that today. Not every man is ready for into their divine, which is okay, but they will pay a huge price. It's like the risk is always there to change, but the bigger risk is to not change.
I think what they lack is the confidence, the guidance, most important, a right coach for them. No,
Correct.
I think coaching would play a very important role in guiding these kind of men to find their true self, true purpose. What do you think?
I feel sort of coaching is really important, but I'll tell you what, not everybody is ready to be coached.
Mm-hmm.
What I've observed is half of the time I have to say people, I have to deny people because they're just
Okay.
not ready.
Acha.
Right? You must have observed that, right? When as a client someone shows up and you will sense as a coach that they are not ready, they are half committed, they are not putting in the work,
You can
they
sense
are
it.
just
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't want to work with those people. As I said, right, I can't help everyone now. Initially, I was in that phase where, yeah, I want to help. But now when I observe the reality, the behavior of people, I can't be responsible for how they are. It's not my duty to, babysit them.
Hmm.
They have to gather the courage themselves and commit, not to me or not to any other coach, but to themselves. Correct? But people again lack commitment. They're half committed,
Even as
right?
a men's coach, I experience this a lot. People lack commitment. People come with a lot of enthusiasm to you. They want to work, but then they lack commitment. They let it go halfway through. They're not committed to
Yeah,
themselves. They will know
yeah.
how they'll be committed to a coach or a mentor.
True, true. But I also feel that if they're not committed right now,
They're not ready.
having these challenges, I mean, your life is going to get miserable if you don't do it now. अगर मेरे घर पे आग लगी है and I can see the fire, it's small fire, but if I'm not putting the extinguisher today, if I wait,
Yeah,
wait,
bro.
wait until the right conditions, the whole house is going to blow up.
Absolutely. One day that is going to come.
So, most people are just ignorant about it. They're just ignorant. They're just not able to see through things because they're too caught up in what they have been fed.
Yeah.
Money, business, that's it. Gather the money, work on the business, be a slave, keep working, keep working. But you can't develop if you're not developing yourself. Because all development starts within. When you have an alignment of your mind, your spirit, your emotions, as you rightly mentioned, all of that. वो alignment जब होगा तभी you can show up differently.
Right.
तभी the kind of opportunities you want will be aligned for you because you are showing up differently, right? And what I always believe is you cannot not manifest. We are
This is very
always
important.
manifesting.
This is very important.
Very important, and people don't realize these truths because it's like what you don't know, you don't know. So to know the truth, you would have to remove the lens of ignorance.
Absolutely.
So emotional strength is very important, Saurabh, and I feel people, not everybody is ready to be coached, and that's okay. I don't take it personally. I just tell them, hey, listen, man, you are not yet ready,
Hmm.
but you have to get ready if you really want to walk on this path. It's like you make them decide every time.
Yeah.
So I cannot make a decision for them. I can just make them see the things clearly, that if you
Hmm.
do this, this is your life, this is what your life would be. If you
Right.
don't do it, these are the consequences.
It's like
You know.
they say
So
ना,
what
घोड़े को
then?
तालाब के
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry I'm interrupting you. uh, it's like they say घोड़े को तालाब के पास लेके जा सकते but you cannot make him drink the water.
Correct. That's so true. So ever since I came across all these things and I look at my coaching, I looked at my success stories, I looked at the people who were approaching me. Something was going wrong because people were having the money. And everybody has money. They often say, "Why don't I have money?" They're just making up an excuse as a lack of commitment.
Yeah.
I see these people buying Rolexes, buying Mercedes, driving a Mercedes, and they say, "I don't have money." who are you fooling? At least show up with truth. At, hey, you know what? I don't think I can do it right now. I'm not committed. People hide behind the truth. Lies comfort them. you know but again, these things, when we speak to them, it might sound them harsh, but as I
Yeah,
always
yeah.
say, I can't sugarcoat my client. I can't sugarcoat the people. That's not me. I call a spade, because that is how I was brought when I was a student. That is how my mentors shaped me as an axe, right? And today we need people like you, like us, who call the truth. We can't
Yes,
put a
absolutely.
facade.
You don't sugarcoat it. You call
Yeah,
it
no
out
sugarcoating, because
reality.
Bollywood kar raha hai wo. We can't be doing that.
Right. So I before we go ahead, or rather before we end this, I want to, since we are running out of time, I want to ask a last question to you. You know, we are talking a lot about masculinity, how it has changed, how it is transformed, and where it is going. What do you think? What do you envision the future for masculinity and the concept of alpha males? Because there has been a lot of shift happening in the society, redefining
Yeah,
concepts.
I think what I will say is, sort of, we are the pioneers of that.
Right.
I feel privileged, very much privileged, that oh my God, I can't even tell you how privileged I feel when I get the chance to speak about this, to coach people, to be at this position where I am today, in order to make an impact, do events, and all of that. I think masculinity, again, I feel there'll be again a shift. There'll be a divide, a huge divide. 85 to 90% people would be on the side where they'll be bystanders. They'll keep watching. Spectators honge wo.
Yeah.
And 10-15% of men would be on our side, who will see what is happening to their life, why being strong, being tough, being vulnerable, being resilient, being empathetic, being kind, being divine is so important.
Yeah.
But was it 10% hoga? 10%
Hmm.
only. And I think I'm very much happy with that,
Right.
because those 10% are really committed people.
Yes. The change makers.
Exactly. I would rather work and spend my energy and time and devote my life to working with selected few, rather than a bunch of half-hearted people, right? I
True.
think when we come at this stage, as a coach, as coaches, when we come at this stage, and when we make standards for ourselves, I think the people who we deny at some point will toughen up, और
Yeah.
वो लोग और ज्यादा मेहनत करेंगे.
Yes.
It's like simple, right? अगर if we were kids, and if our parents today told us, look, if you want to get that BMX bike, you would have to earn this.
Yeah.
So you got to earn that. I say to my clients, you got to earn that. I'm not going to give you anything in platter,
Mhm.
because I became this way when I earned everything. Life didn't give it to me. जिसका जो 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 पेन से मैं गुजरा हूं, अगर उसका आधा भी आप गुजरोगे, तो you'll already achieve a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
The
know,
guidance and the motivation, that is what they need.
I think more than motivation, I think they need to tap into their purpose.
Yes. Their inner purpose.
Yeah, correct. Most men today are lost, because again, the direction is not there. They do not
Mhm.
have strong masculine father figures. They were raised by mamas. Their mamas were, again, toxic in their way, too controlling, too suppressive. Because I was at this cafe, a week ago, and there was this young looking dude whose mother was too aggressive, controlling him every time. And I could see that on his face, the guy's face. He was feeling so miserable. He was looking at me. And I was like, dude, you will be in my community someday. I know for sure. So that's what happens if you go out there today. Most of the Indian parents are too controlling on their kids. It's because their own insecurities. So I think we should also start something called as a parenting coaching. Probably once I become a parent very soon.
I'm already a parent, so
You already are a parent, right? So you know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Parents can either parents can either break or make their children's life. I firmly
I
believe in
agree
that.
with this completely.
Correct. But I don't even blame on the parents itself,
No,
because
no.
उनके वो parents को trauma मिला है उनके parents.
It's being continued.
It's being continued to generation. So I always say this now, that I am going to be the one who's going to break this trauma. The generational trauma, the trauma of living in poverty, becoming the millionaire, everything, it starts from me.
Yes.
So that is what I did not need motivation. I needed a strong purpose to see really who I can be. And I think very, very much, as you said, mentors like us, like you, plays a very huge role in helping men realize their own potential.
Yeah.
We can't tell them you will become a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people have been telling them. That is why they're living in a miserable life.
Help them to find themselves.
Correct. Exactly. We can help them rediscover themselves. We can help them, tap into their calling, what their calling is, who they can be.
Right.
So that's what my style of coaching is. That is what I have evolved, and that is what I want to give it back to the community.
Absolutely. I think the way Mahatma Gandhi ji said, be the change you want to see. The change has
Absolutely.
to be inside you. You have to. I'm happy to say that I've seen being a parent, I've seen a few parents break the chain of being overprotective and actually put their kids, into the water to learn to swim, discover themselves. And it's been amazing for those kids who have such parents who have let them explore.
Yes.
And we need more such people in the society.
Correct. True. But I also feel that there is today a very strong need of masculine role models.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a very, very huge need. It's like oxygen for family.
Mm-hmm.
Having a strong male is like oxygen for your family.
अगर वो नहीं रहेगा, for the next male,
अगर आपके फैमिली में कोई अगर स्ट्रॉन्ग मैस्कुलिन बंदा, डिवाइन मैस्कुलिन नहीं होगा, your family is going to break apart.
Yes. Wow. I think that was a very, very amazing discussion. I think we should have another episode as well on this.
Very soon.
Yeah.
A part 2.
Part 2. We should definitely have a part 2 to dig in more deeper, more intense discussion on this.
Definitely. I would love that.
Yes, so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ronak, for taking your time and giving us such wonderful insights, eye-openers, and I would definitely look forward for a part 2, and I'm definitely doing it with you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and we love to have you one more time. All right.
Thank you, Saurabh. Really appreciate this.
And continue your journey, towards changing the lives of men, is showing them true purpose and true masculinity.
Let's make them stronger.
Yes.
One at a time.
Absolutely. All right.
Perfect, Saurabh. Thank you.
Thank you so much.